Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is with you. Mic check for Bumble and Mr. G Bear. Hopefully coming through loud and clear. We got a few viewers this morning, and amazingly, I'm on time. If we remember the last driver to server assignment stream, I was several hours late. Might have been something to do with life and maybe the wife. But more important things, can you believe it, than the AMS2CC driver to server assignment. So not seen any messages saying that the mic is working okay yet, but I can see my little display bobbling up and down, so there's some sort of input going. So hopefully we've got some mic goodness going on there. So today, as you will probably know, we are making the draw for the drivers and assigning them to the servers for the final point scoring round, and that is a subtle difference because we do have two more races, but only one of them is for points. Oh, cheers, Mugridge, for the confirmation. Thank you, sir. So yes, this coming Wednesday we have the RPM League round, and Roy's done a good one for us. He's done a Roy special. We've got Spa, nice combo, with the McLaren F1 GTR. Sorry, nice track and definitely a nice combo. And as we all know from previous seasons, Roy likes a bit of weather thrown into the mix. So we've got wet qualifying. We've got a dry track, but the rain's coming down in qualifying. And in the race, we've got a wet track, but with no rain. But then it starts to rain later, then it goes dry again, just to keep everybody on their toes. So it's going to be a tricky combo. We hope that everybody does their absolute best to keep it super clean, as they always do. There's never been anything deliberate in any of our races, but it's racing and stuff does go wrong. So yeah, we'll I'm sure have a final point scoring race that is absolutely cracking. Then we do have a finish on a high event. That'll be on the 8th of January. There'll be no shakedown for that. That'll just be whatever combo that you, the drivers, vote on, and wins will be the combo re-won. That'll be on the 8th of January with no shakedown, not point scoring, just for fun. No particular requirement for everybody to field a team or whatever, just everybody that can make it and would like to finish the championship on one final, hopefully epic combo. That's the purpose of the finish on a high. So, I've waffled already for a couple of minutes, and you're not here for the gym waffle. You know I can talk for a long time. We've already done the intro video, so I guess I better just put on the current scoring for the teams championship. Just give me a moment. Ooh, you briefly got the intro video again. You didn't really want that, did you? Okay, so here's the current team score. We've got KCSR on top, but unlike previous years, it is not a done deal as we enter the final round. So everything still to play for. We have SSR, that's semi-slick racing, and KCSR, which is curb clippers. KCSR up front at the moment, 552 points. That's 11 points ahead of semi-slick racing, who are in second. But semi-slick racing have had a good last couple of rounds, and KCSR did not have a great one last one. Not terrible, but it wasn't great. So that gap is just now 11 points. There is a possibility, I think, of 101 points is a maximum score. That is, if a team wins on both servers and gets a second place, they get 101 points. So there's definitely enough points out there for that finishing order to change. We'll get AMSU in third place. They're a little bit further back, 514 points. That's a 38-point gap away from KCSR, and if my math is any good, a 27-point gap, I think, away from SSR. MVRC a little bit further back. They had, unfortunately, it was their combo 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, and despite it being their combo, they had a bad race, but mostly down to just terrible luck. It really was unfortunate for them. They only scored 51 points, but that definitely doesn't put them out of the running for a podium in some form. If they have a good finish and any of the top three teams don't have a good finish, they could definitely still sneak into the podium. So yeah, pretty close in the teams championships. And as you know, I always like to do this is possibly, sorry, let me backtrack a little bit. So the team standings is the best 3 out of the 4 drivers count, but what if we counted all 4 drivers of each? Let's scroll down a little and have a look. So here we have the point standings if all 4 drivers counted, not if just the top 3, but all 4 drivers counted in the team. Now the reason why we only count the top 3 is because things go wrong, technical difficulties happen, and so by only counting the top 3 it means if somebody gets a disconnect or some sort of wheel issue or a technical issue, something like that, they leave the race, can't score points for their team through no real fault of their own, then that's not particularly fair, is it, on the standing? So that's why we only take the top 3 out of the 4. But if we took all 4, look, SSR out at front on 638 points, but just 4 points ahead of KCSR. And it's closed up a little bit because AMSU there are just 5 points back. So AMSU, we don't get the massive point wins, but we are quite consistent. That's why we're kind of loitering there in 3rd place. So I always like to see that. That's quite interesting to see. Really top at this point, after 7 rounds, to have just 25 points separating the podium is pretty impressive for all points. And if we scroll back up, just 38 points separating the podium in the actual scoring that we're using. Okay, again, Jim's talked too much. So let's move on to the Drivers' Championship, and this is really blooming close as well. So we have JK out at front for MVRC. So this will be, again, possibly, it's not over yet, but possibly the first year a non-KCSR driver will win the championship, because as I say, JK for MVRC is out at front, but it definitely isn't over. It's quite a tall order for Johnny in 2nd to take over, and obviously you've got SSR in 3rd and Blankfile in 4th. And look, if we actually look at the points there, 158 for JK, that's a nice little gap. He's got a 9-point gap over Johnny on 149, but Mr. Dustin for SSR, he's just 1 point behind Johnny on 148, and so is Blankfile, he's also on 148. So the top 4 drivers there within 10 points of each other. Now, it's complicated when it comes to the Drivers' Championship because we have drop races. 2 out of the 8 races are dropped. This allows for drivers who maybe can't attend because, real life and although sim racing is absolutely fantastic, is not always able to attend every race. So we have 2 drop races, which means if, for example, if JK wasn't to drive at all in the final round, how much difference would that actually make to his score? Well, it actually would make quite a difference. I mean, he is racing, don't get me wrong, but he's already missed, I think, 1 round. Yeah, he's only missed 1 round, and in his last round, he had a really unfortunate race, and I think finished something like 19th, quite far down. So at the moment, his no-show and his 19th finish aren't counting for his score. Okay, so that means the ones that are counting are all pretty good. I think his worst finish that's counting is 4th place. But in the final round, if he has a bad race, then one of those worst finishes, as it were, has to start counting. And this is where it gets quite interesting. So in short, if Johnny wins, and JK, I believe, finishes in 4th or below, then Johnny will win. They'll be on the same points, but Johnny will win based on a best position count back, and we have to count back all the way to the best P4 finish because they've both done so well. They have the same number of firsts and so on and so on and so on. So yeah, it's really close. So if Johnny wins and JK finishes in 4th or below, then Johnny's got a shout for the championship. So if Johnny, say, finished 2nd, then JK would have to finish even further back. So Johnny's definitely got to beat JK, and he's got to beat him by a few points for it to be Johnny's overall victory. And obviously, I haven't done that calculation for everybody else because there was an awful lot of mass involved, and I'm not 100% sure I got it right. But that is very similar for Dustin and Blankfile, who are both just 10 points rather than 9 points behind JK. So if JK has a good race and a nice finish, then the championship is his, and obviously the best of luck to JK. We wish him with that. But for all the drivers who are in contention for that win, we all hope you have a fantastic race, and the championship isn't over yet. Right, let's do a quick rundown of the top 10, then we'll do the draw. So JK's in the win, Johnny in 2nd, 3rd currently is Dustin, 4th is Blankfile, Statue in 5th, Tex, KCSR 6th, Erwin, AMSU in 7th, Noodle for NRT in 8th, another AMSU driver is Little Old B in 9th place, and Hawkick in 10th place. And as I say, a quick look at those scores there, look, really is very close between everybody. So I'm sure there'll be some them juggling around there. And if you look at all the drivers that have taken part, scroll, that's out of 68 drivers. So I think that's pretty darn good. Well done, everybody. Right, let's get on to the final driver to server assignment. And I've just realised I haven't yet put MVRC's drivers into the list. I only got their drivers quite late this morning. So just give me a moment. Technical difficulties, everybody. The mic will go quiet whilst I use all my hands to put in the last bit of data. This is where we need some nice lift music, don't we? But I haven't got any working. Just bear with me. Oh, I have got some. Let me put some lift music on. Oh, this is embarrassing. This is where I realised that I thought I hadn't put them in, because I just kind of realised that I know I'd got them late, and I thought, oh yeah, I bet you haven't put them in, Jim. But look, they're there. So I have put them in. I'm actually better than I think I am, somehow. So yes. Let's quickly scroll through those then. We have... oh no, I'm looking at the wrong round. I am getting super confused here. I probably haven't put them in. Here's round 8, and I haven't put them in, but I've got them in memory. Yes, there we go. We've got them. Honestly, guys, I know what I'm doing. Everybody's got a full team. They have. Fabulous. Okay, so quickly scrolling left to right here. Let me just undo the zoom a little bit so it's not quite zoom. Well, I don't know if that's any better, but there we go. So we've got... full team for 10T, AMS2CC, KCSR, MVRC. Noob Gamers are going to have 2 drivers. We're going to try to make sure, so it might need some... don't be flipping, changing the data. We're going to try to make sure that the drivers are split up, so the 2 NBZ proper drivers, as it were, are on 1 on each server. So if the random draw doesn't do that, I will be manually assigning 1 to each server. So there's an NBZ actual driver, followed by a reserve from another team, Andy Bonart on a trained monkey. Really appreciate that, guys. Stepped in to support NBZ there. Thank you. It's great to see all the camaraderie and just the fact that everybody's just after a good race. I mean, we're interested in winning and good points and the rest of it, but a good race is priority in helping other teams out. So thank you, Andy, and the trained monkey, especially there. Nomad's got a full team. RPM, unfortunately, 1 driver short, but G-Bear for MSU has volunteered. Thank you. To stand in for RPM. Then we got RRC, a full team, SRGP, a full team, and SSR, a full team. And it means we have no independents today because they have stepped up to help out NBZ. But we do have a few reserves, 2 for 10 team, 1 for MVRC. So let's click that button and find out how everybody's going to assign. I think the key one to see is, are Johnny and JK on the same server? Let's go and find out. Let's have a quick look then. We've got Johnny. No, they're on different servers, so Johnny and JK are not going to know. Not going to know how things play out on the different servers, so that's particularly interesting. Before we go through the list, let's just check with NBZ how they have been split. Yeah, we need to quickly adjust those because, look, Tom and Harm are on the same server, leading the 2 support drivers on the same server as well, and we'd rather not have that. So just let me adjust those numbers. So thank you for your understanding there. So it's the manual override of the drivers with NBZ, because as I said, we want to try and split NBZ there, look, and Harm there over the 2 servers, meaning that the support driver Andy and their trained monkey are also split across the servers. So let's have a quick go then. On server 1, we've got Linus and Bluefear for 10T, myself and Erwin for AMSU, Glenn Alls and Johnny for KCSR, Mr. Dan and Minimus for MVRC. Dan's got his new pedals and he's got his fibre internet connection, so hopefully none of the sheep are going to get in the way and all those data packets as his data comes in from Wales. So yeah, good luck with Dan there. It'd be great to have him back on track, as he's had to step back due to his internet issues for quite some time. So yeah, Dan and Minimus for MVRC, Tom and Andy for NBZ, Noodle and Chris for NRT, Rocco and G-Bear, the standing driver for RPM, Mikey and Mattia for RRC, Jerry and Ricky for SRGP, Kefalor and Dustin for SSR, and the two independents, Flip-Flops and Extreme Games. Finally then for Server 2, does add some proof for 10T, Franner and Zilla for AMSU, Blankfile and Tex for KCSR, JK and Slayer for MVRC, Harm and a Trained Monkey for NBZ, Tinez and Nessie for NRT. Excuse me there, just a tickle in the old throat there. Where do we get to? Tinez and Nessie for NRT, Roy and Hawkick for RPM, Michelle and Marrow for RRC, Alpha and Andy for SRGP, Statue and Vanders for SSR, and finally the reserve of Lag Slug. We do hope that we're going to have the broadcast team as we had for all the other races, which is Ica and Mets. Massive respect to them. Thank you very much for you've stuck out. Well, I hope you can make the last rounds. If life's got in the way, then so be it. But they have broadcast all the rounds for us, and if we're really lucky, they might even do the finish on a high for us as well. But that is completely their choice, because they do donate an awful lot of time, effort, and energy into making those streams. And many of us as drivers do really enjoy watching those back at a later date and seeing if we got a little bit of screen time. If we got lucky, maybe we had something interesting happen. Maybe we didn't. And all the skinners get all their beautiful hard work demonstrated and displayed for the masses out there. So yeah, I don't think Mets and Ike will probably end up watching this stream, but my appreciation to you guys. Right, enough of my waffle. How long has that stream lasted? Where's my little timer? 22 bloody minutes. Jesus. 7 of those minutes were intro music, and at least 3 or 4 minutes of those were me getting thoroughly confused about whether I had or had not put in MVRC drivers onto the list. So yes, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Yes, we will see you on track on Wednesday, and I'm probably going to go and do a little bit of practice, because that wet weather is an absolute brute. Have a good day, guys. Good evening, good morning, whatever you've got left of your day. I hope you have a good one, and we'll see you on track on Wednesday for the final AMS2CC 2024 scoring round. Goodbye.